huri taku reo, ki te hiku o te ika, ki te hiku o te rangi, ki runga rawa e hine, e tama, e koro, e kuima, tā huri mai, whakarongo mai. Tēnei te mihi mahana ki a koutou. He uri ahau no te hiku o te ika, ko maunga tani whā te maunga, ko tokerau te moana, ko Ngāti Kau te iwi, ko Ngāti Tara te hapu, ko Callie Corrigan taku ingoa. Maumahara i tēnei wā tētahi o ngā kōtiro o te kāinga, amo haere me tōna whānau, haere atu rā e te kōtiro ki Hawaii nui, Hawaii roa, Hawaii pāmama. Ka huri aku mihi ki a koutou katoa. Kia ora everyone, my name is Callie, I'm from the far north. I am, the mountain which sustains me is Maunga Taniwha. The waters that I hear every morning, every night is Tokerau. And I'm here to kōrero about Māori Voices. The organisation I work for is Toi Tangata, and Toi Tangata is a national Māori health organisation that has a role and responsibility in Māori narratives to nutrition and physical activity. And I just want to acknowledge e te rangatira, Paparangi Reid, because mo tō mahi rangatira. Toi Tangata is, I suppose, a child of Te Hotu Manawa Māori, and Paparangi and her work over 20 years ago, and the challenges that she would have had at that time to try and create a space for Māori voices is what has enabled me to be here today, 20 years later, trying to still continually fight for a voice for Māori in our sector. So, tēnei te mihi mahana ki a koe. How do I work this, team? True. Okay, so I actually have to say I've been really nervous about this presentation, and I've been trying to think why. And even from last night and the challenges, for those that were here in the dialogue, I've been reflecting on that, and there's a couple of reasons. One, and it follows on from the kōrero, where are Māori voices in this whole dialogue? And I get to have a kōrero right now. At the end of the day, we finally get to hear our people's voices. Where's the equity in that? I'm challenged because I've been thinking, I have to conform to this approach that values the logic sequence of point A, point B, point C. And as I've been living back up north and home, and I've been with my kaumātua kuia, I'm realising that a Māori voice doesn't go that sequence. That my tupuna, the kōrero is like the river, right? And sometimes I'm going here and sometimes I'm going there, but there is clear direction. And I was thinking, I'm meant to conform in this space right here. You know, if you've looked around, I'm the only one without a doctor or professorness that's on the speaking today. But I'm meant to conform to a way that works in a system. And I've decided I'm going to be okay, that I might actually go here, I might go there, because that's in my whakapapa. I've thought about also the challenge about sharing Māori voices. And look, titiro ki ahau, you look at me. Firstly, one, my whānau want me to eat more. You know, I'm going to play rugby league this year again with my nieces and my cousins, and everyone's trying to feed me up because it hurts when I get smashed. Secondly, if you titiro ki te karo o taku kiri, look, I'm white. And today is St. Patrick's Day, and I emulate the whakapapa of my Irish tupuna and my Scottish tupuna. And yet here I stand to communicate the voice of whānau in this kaupapa. And that's a little bit taimaha, but paianga. The other thought is that, and it connects to the kōrero last night around capacity, and we don't yet have the capacity in Māori health for Callie to be standing here to be an expert in bariatric surgery, to have someone standing here to be experts in, when we're talking about M-health. We're partners in other projects, and I'm meant to understand economics, and we haven't yet got that capacity. And so I'm not going to talk about bariatric surgery. My role is just to communicate voice of our people. The learning through this journey comes through he awa te ahau. And I want to acknowledge the partners and the people in the room who have been part of this project. He awa te ahau is a whānau approach to bariatric surgery, and it's been about a 3-year project. And I just want to acknowledge Quigley and Watts, and Carolyn is here in the room somewhere. And we have 2 DHBs, counties Manukau and Waitemata, and we have the Whānau who have contributed a lot with the Pacific voice into this project. Again, I don't know all the details behind all of these projects, and I've decided I'm okay with that. There will be people in the room if you want to ask some questions, who will be able to answer that. 2 parts to this project. First element is to review the health literacy element and approach within bariatric surgery within 2 of those DHBs. Second part, how do we start creating a whānau-centric approach so that we're not just supporting that individual going through the bariatric journey, but we're supporting their whole whānau. So I'm just going to be sharing some of the voices through this process. Part of the reason I'm here and not Ora is because Ora's gone to Koroneihana, and so we have two people here who have been critical in the role of supporting whānau through the journey to, during and after bariatric surgery. So we've got Ora and Losa, and Losa works for the Whānau. Just want to acknowledge them because they're the ones who have been doing the work. Actually, I've heard different people talking about it, that we need people to help navigate the system. Well, it is happening. It's just maybe we need to all connect and have cup of teas more, so that you know what's happening in the community. Okay, so I'm just putting up quotes. A key part is it being whānau-centric. Okay? So the whole whānau support approach is natural in our whānau. So when I decided to have surgery because of my health issues, my whānau with me all the way, making change possible for us all to achieve and maintain. A lot of approaches, a lot of information goes directly to that individual without recognising and understanding that the key decision makers around kai, the key motivators, kai tautoko supporters, aren't always that individual. How do we collectively start supporting whānau through that? There's another quote which I haven't put up but I thought was important. Look, my whānau were the hardest thing. My mum kept going, no, don't get that surgery. You shouldn't do that to your body. It's not normal. But I said, nah, mum, I still want to get it. I really had to persuade mum, which was hard. She's happy now though. And again, though, just thinking, who comes into those appointments? Who are the people that are there to support that individual? We've got to make sure those other critical whānau people are in there. One other thought to think about. We are going to be the ones, this is one of the husbands and his kōrero thinking around, I wish I'd known some more information. We're going to be the ones sitting at the dinner table eating, and she's there watching you and me, and the kids are watching you eat. There would have been a lot of support there if we had just known what she was feeling and might have been and might be struggling. Again, for us in the room here, you may not deal individually with people, but what information are you providing, whatever your roles of influence are, that ensure that the collective whānau are accessing the right information, delivered in the right way? There's heaps more we could talk about there, but no, there is one more. In our sector right now, it's as Māori, we're just trying to challenge most of our health professionals to move from thinking about ko au, me as an individual, into thinking about me as a collective. We actually need to move outside of person-centric altogether and start looking at our environment and our taiao and recognising the for us as Māori, the solutions to our oranga actually lives within our environment. I mean, right now we're trying to create a space to enable whānau to be in it. What we really want to be doing now, not 20 years later, is actually weaving in the Māori narratives to the whakapapa of our environment, which of course, and you think this week, Whanganui River, it has finally in a legal world got person status. And in terms of te ao Māori, that makes perfect sense. Ko te awa, ko au, ko te awa. We are the same, the river and I. I'm random. I'm going off, eh? Okay, let's think about the journey too. I definitely didn't feel confident, especially in that big information session. There must have been about 20 to 30 people in there. No one was asking questions. Shame you were too embarrassed to ask the questions. But in my head, I'm trying to listen, remember all these big words in that. I'm going to continue on. You're sitting there, bro, and no one's talking. You have a Pākehā nurse up there saying this, this and this, and you're like head down, hiding your face. In my mind I was thinking, just show me the paper, where do I sign? Never mind the kōrero, I just want to do it. But then you're still sort of hoping someone will ask a question like the one you want to ask. But it's not like that, it's pretty sterile actually. The chairs are small, you're trying to sit at the back, just hide. That's pretty powerful. And it could be so simple. It's about they walk into a room and the chairs don't fit. How on earth are you going to be feeling empowered to start a journey to oranga? There are situations where whānau will be weighed in front of everyone else. How does that whakamana or, again, respect that person? Unfortunately, this is happening still here and now. Fortunately, there are also people in the room and whose DHBs have been listening and trying to make some change. Okay, we now get all this information coming to me. I'm not really a reader, I'm a listener, or I'd rather see it, and so having the pictures was heaps better than going through the pages of words. There's a whole thing, of course, backtrack. One of the things that we've done just in the past month up home in Parapara is a whole piece of work around kai mapping. And we've got in a whole lot of academics who had knowledge and awesome skill sets to share with our whānau how do we map and place knowledge and food. At the very end of it, all of us realised that the story of kai was actually in the tāhuhu of our marae. The story was in a visible form on Parapara marae, and we just needed to connect to that knowledge. As us as health professionals, how are we visually communicating information? Actually, there's solutions, and many Māori have solutions. We've communicated through imagery, through orally, for generations. Come ask, listen. The role of health literacy isn't just on that patient either, eh? And I heard a little bit before, and I've heard some, and I'm not going to spend too much time there because it's about the voices of our whānau. But there were statements from senior leaders in bariatric surgery who was like, well, it's not my role, that's not my job. There were statements from people who had been to a doctor and they said, oh, do you know that's cheating? Don't go down that pathway. There's still a whole lot of work that we need to do within our health profession to increase health literacy so that our whānau are feeling respected and can make informed choices. In that though, again, whānau, there are some people, including in the room here, who have been taking up that wero and challenge and trying to improve in this space. Okay, there's more to me than just a number or a tick box. I'm a Waikato mother of 4 tamariki who's in pain and I need of help. I definitely don't need to be told where I'm going wrong, simply where I want to get to. The ability for a whānau member or for a person to ask good questions is if they're feeling valued. If you go into a space and you're feeling undermined, you're feeling like a tick box, there's no way they're going to ask those critical questions, which of course is not going to lead to success. Ultimately, how do we reframe that? There were conversations about feeling disconnected. You know, you walk in and they're not actually, again, just interested in me, koe. They just want to look at this label, obesity. They want to look at this kaupapa and not realise that I am a person and there is a whole lot of me, you know, that informs who I am and the decisions I make. When I read this, I also think about the kōrero that our brother Alex talked about, and that numbers, I've seen so much statistics in here, those numbers impact, those are our whānau. You know, in my marae parapara, if you came to our urupa, if you came to our burial place, all of our uncles are in there, are 45, you know, from 35 to 45. It's real. Those statistics aren't just a statistic, it is why we want our voices heard. It's our whānaus who are impacted, it's my uncles who are dying. We're not just a number. This comes through and through, he Māori ahau. And many of our whānau didn't feel, of course there was an awareness of how to communicate or recognise that this patient is Māori. Especially around the conversations around food and it going towards nutrients, portion size, all of those elements which might be critical to success, but it still takes away the whole layer of the role of kai in our whānau. And again, I'm just going to jump because I can. When I think about last night's discussion, an example of how I would communicate that differently when we're talking about fizzy drinks, instead of moving my lens to the whakaaro of don't drink fizzy drinks, you bad Māori, I'm going to rephrase it and I'm going to think about everyone in the room. When you go and turn the tap on tonight to get a glass of water, think about what's the whakapapa or journey of that water to your glass. You know, think about that. So for me up home, our water is connected to the tank water. It would have come down from Ranginui, hit the roof, into my tank water, into my glass. I'm ingesting that mauri. Even for user on bore water, even user on town supply, there is a whakapapa to that wai. There's a simple example of how I would Māori narratives communicate a message away from a negative approach to a positive one that is about sustaining our whakapapa ahead. Okay, this one is around, it's important to ask questions and be curious at the appointments. I had a notebook with me, always, and jotted down things important to me. I came out of those appointments feeling satisfied. Now, when I saw this, I was thinking, I don't know if I want this because I want to be able to challenge. But again, it's not my voice, and it's our whānau's voice. And this was actually someone who had been supported by Ora o Losa and actually had been given the tools, feeling a lot more confident. And of course, through that, they were able to engage more and get to successful outcomes. Am I getting the whopsh? Okay. We've got labels, we've talked about it already. And no one wants to be labelled fat kid, diabetic woman, obese. Big thing is that, most of our whānau who come into the space have already been belittled by labels enough. They know that. How is that going to get them in the right space to even start getting their headspace into a positive journey? One of the key things that Ora does in her work is she doesn't even look at the diabetes element. It's about how do we just support whānau where they are at. She might not even agree. She stays in a neutral space because that keeps her safe in the whānau space, safe, and it's just about getting them moving ahead. Cool. So, Heawa te ahau, acknowledging again the partners within this. Fortunately, we haven't been funded going ahead. And there are people in this room over the last day and who have said that they had those patients come through and could see the impact and see the difference that it makes. How do we ensure that our voices are heard in the solutions ahead? 2 more points. I can see, but I'm going to maximise this opportunity. 2 more points. I'm going to step out of He Awa Te Ahau and I'm going to step into the Māori voice in the leadership of Toi Tangata. I'm going to connect back to the kōrero last night of Dr. Māori Glover in terms of where are our voices in this solution. We need to grow capacity. Like I said, but the solutions to grow that aren't all in Toi Tangata. The solutions to grow Māori capacity, we need curriculum. We've got hardly any Māori dietitians coming through. There is capacity issues there. We've got curriculum changes that need to be implemented so that there is Māori narratives coming through. There's multiple things, but I'm asking and hoping that the solutions are also going to be contributed from people here in the room. Secondly, partnerships. There's still a lot of work that we need to do so that there is valued partnerships in the work that's happening at the moment. And I've been trying to think, how do you communicate this? And it's like, we're still at the table sometimes. Yep, we're at the table, that's awesome. But then that Māori narrative and the Māori thinking gets sieved through, that the end point is not often the type of solution that's best going to meet our whānau. And I'm not quite sure yet how we improve that, and maybe that's a capacity issue too. We also need to change the shift. Currently, there's still too many teina relationships. I'm the teina, and our other partners are tuakana. They're in the decision-making spaces. They're in the holding. There's how, if we move ahead, are we going to shift that to there is more equality in the relationship? At the very beginning, I sung a waiata, and it connects really that I hope people are listening. Kia ora.
Kia ora, Callie, thank you for bringing us back to people, what it means to people as individuals, but also to whānau, to our families, and really bringing all the science we've heard today back to some real stories and some real people. So thank you very much. And I'll hand over now to the next chair. Thank you.